Now I'm working in drag underscore Todd underscore 2.fla. If you're continuing on from the last video, this is just the same file, just different name. Let's talk about what you have to do to extend a class. There's one very key thing that you have to do, and that's create a class file, and that will be a separate ActionScript file, similar to what we've done before in creating an external ActionScript file. Just so you know how class files work, if you were to go on the folder where you installed Flash on your hard drive and you were to navigate, you could find all the class files for every class of all of ActionScript in Flash. And so all of the classes, a movie clip class, a loadvars class, etc., 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 all of these are saved in separate class files. So when you're creating a new class, it would make sense that you would have to create a separate class file. So let's do that real quick. I'm going to go to File, New. I'm going to select ActionScript file from this menu and press OK. Now the first thing that you got to do is save this file. And so I'm going to go to File, Save. Make sure you save it in the same folder as your other FLA files. And now you have to give it a name. And remember that class names start with uppercase letters in every word. So I'm going to call this drag Todd, capital D and capital T, .as. And then click Save. Alright, so two things that you got to do so far, just to recap. You got to create an external ActionScript file, and you have to give that capital letters for each word. Alright, let's start typing some code. Type class. Then you're going to type the name of your class, which is obviously going to be the same as the name of the ActionScript file. So I'm going to type drag Todd, capital D, capital T, space, extends, space, movie clip, capital M and a capital C. Remember I said we're going to extend the movie clip class. So basically what this line of code is saying is we're going to take everything that the movie clip class has, all of those attributes, and we're going to add whatever we write in here to that class. I'm going to press enter to go down to the next line, open curly brace, press enter several times to go down a few lines, and I'm going to put a closed curly brace. Press up arrow again to go in the middle. When you create a new class file, you need to put all of the class information inside of brackets. There are a lot of little things that you got to do for this to make it work, so I encourage you to take note of every little thing that I'm doing here, or follow along really closely because you need to do all these steps for this to work. Alright, now I'm going to create something called a constructor function. A constructor function is something that runs automatically when you first create an instance of a class. So let's say we make all of our, going back to our FLA file, if we make all of these pieces part of this new class, which we're going to do, this constructor function will run every time one of those is created. So let's create that. I'm going to type function. Notice I'm typing the word function first. You have to do it this way when creating a constructor function. And then you type the class name. Drag Todd, capital D and a capital T. Then open and close parenthesis. Now in the past we've done colon void, saying that this is not going to return a value. Do not type that here. We just need what we have here. In a constructor function, you don't return anything. It can't return anything. So just type in function, space, the class name, open and close parenthesis. That's it. I'm going to press enter. Now we're going to create what happens in this constructor function. Open curly brace or open curly bracket. Enter again. Close curly bracket, up arrow, enter to go within the brackets. Now we're just going to do a simple trace statement just to make sure this is working. And I'm going to type this within the parentheses and a semicolon. Next thing you got to do to make sure it works is you got to save the file. Never forget to do that. It can be really frustrating. Go back to your FLA file, and we got to do one more thing before this does anything. Remember we did external ActionScript files before, and we used the include command to use an external file? Well, you don't do that when you're creating a separate class. You do something else. So remember that, because it'll get really annoying if you try to include your external ActionScript file when you have a new class, because it will not work and it'll just frustrate you and everybody will be mad and everybody's life will be ruined. Okay, well not really, but just don't do it. Let me show you how to do it. What we're going to do is we're going to link all of these pieces to that external ActionScript file that we just created. So I'm going to select each one of those movie clips in my library, right click, select linkage, click export for ActionScript, and then where it says ActionScript 2.0 class, remember I'm leaving the identifier the same, we don't need to edit that. I'm going to type the name of the class I want it to reference, drag Todd. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that, I'm going to select it, I'm going to press Control C on my keyboard, that would be Command C on a Mac, and I'm just going to paste it in all the rest of them because it's going to be kind of tedious, so I want to do it as fast as possible. So remember that you have to link every instance of that class or every object that's in that class to that file by doing this. So I'm going to go through every single one, select linkage, export for ActionScript, paste in the class name, so on and so forth through all 8 of these. And once that's all done, if I test my movie, see what happens. Okay, the output window comes up and it says level 0 dot all of my instance names. Now something's obviously wrong here because it's only saying 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, and probably because I did that a little fast. I skipped 4, 5, and 6. So let me put in that name for 4, 5, and 6. It's a good way to see if everything's working properly. There we go. Now test the movie. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, we are in business. Okay, go back to your AS file. Now we can see what we're doing here. Trace this is running every time we create a new object or a new instance of the DragTod class, which are all of those movie clips that we just linked to this file. And so when the code runs, it traces the name of that class or that object that's a part of that class. Pretty cool, huh? So to recap, to create or to extend a class file, you need to create a separate ActionScript file. Then you say class, the class name extends the movie clip. You got to create a constructor function that runs for every instance of that class that you create. So now let's write the code that will make us able to drag and drop our pieces.